Have you ever read something on someone's Facebook wall or in a book and you just couldn't get it out of your mind? That happened to me the other day. Patricia Ann Young had posted a quote from We Bought a Zoo. And the quote kind of said all it takes is 20 seconds of insane courage for amazing things to happen in your life. And it just started me thinking about all the times that I had to do that insane courage where you think, I don't know if I can do this. And you might think about it for days or weeks, and then all of a sudden you go, yes, I'm doing it. And it's that 20 seconds of yes that changes everything in your body. And I just started thinking about all the times in my life where it took just 20 seconds of insane courage. One of the times I can think of was I had kind of self-published a book, and someone on a chat room had said, hey, Terry, you should call my publisher and see where that goes. I'll tell you, I was scared, because I'm just gonna call up a publisher and say, hey, I got a book, you should publish. Well, it took me a minute, and I pulled up that insane courage, and I dialed the phone, 20 seconds, and I called him. And we had a chat, and he said, send me your materials, and I did everything wrong. I mean, I just took a copy of that self-published book, and I put a Post-it note on it and said, this is the book I was talking about, and then I sent additional for another book I was working on, and I sent it to him. 20 seconds. And 10 days later, he called me back and he said, Terry, we have to publish your book. My life changed. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm an author and I've got a 3-book deal, and I'm speaking on television shows, and I'm traveling, and I even spoke in Canada on a big national television show there and did an interview there. And it really changed my life. I was homeschooling 8 kids at the time. I loved it. I loved being a stay-at-home mom, but I also loved writing and speaking and getting to go on tour. I liked being famous for a little bit. That was cool. Seeing your book in a bookstore was pretty awesome. And then my entire life flipped upside down, literally overnight. And I suddenly was gripped with fear that now I'm a single mom with all these kids. What am I going to do? And one of the really cool things, I had been speaking down in Texas. I lived in Iowa at the time, 6-bedroom house with 3 acres. We had horses and all this stuff. But when I had been speaking in Texas, I felt this pull. The people were so kind and genuine. I just loved them. And I don't know what was happening in my heart, but I felt like I need to move to Texas. So when my life flipped upside down, I thought, we're gonna move to Texas. And I'm gonna take these, my oldest child was out of the house by then. So I only had 7, we're gonna say only. I only had 7 kids. And I thought about it, and I came down to Texas to see if I could find a job. Remember, I was a stay-at-home mom. I hadn't worked since I got out of the Air Force. So what did I have to offer? So I walked into this little bookstore in Watauga, Texas, with my resume that basically said I was a homeschool mom and I write books and I speak. And I walked in and I handed it to someone, and she said, they're gonna wanna talk to you because you wrote those books over there. You're the Terry Camp. And I went, okay. Well, they hired me right away. And that 20 seconds of insane courage was when I said yes. Yes, I am going to move my entire family from Texas to Dallas, because we all call it Dallas until we know that there are actually other towns. Found an apartment in North Richland Hills, moved all 7 of my kids down to an apartment in North Richland Hills. We were here for 5 days, and one of my kids said, "This feels more like home than any place I've ever been." That is 20 seconds of insane courage and what it can do in your life. So I was working at this job, not making a lot of money, not enough to even pay the rent. So I met someone, and he was in real estate. And he said, "Terry, get your real estate license. You can join my team. We can be a team together." And so 3 weeks later, I had my license, because I'm one of those people that when I do that insane courage thing, I do it. I do not wait. I do not, once I say yes, that yes means let's go. Let's get it done. Let's see where this leads. So I got my license, and we were a team. He did all the website design, and I did all the peopling. So, I got to help buyers and sellers and market properties, and I loved it. It was so amazing. And then 7 years later, wow, I did not know that would happen. He found out that his cancer had come back. And he told me, "I don't know how much time I have left to live, but I would like to spend it with you. Will you marry me?" 20 seconds of insane courage, and I said yes. And we got married 7 days later. And then 6 months later, he died. And wow, I'm so sorry about that. But then I was thinking about the time I was lying in the hospital bed with him. It was in our house, but it was a hospital bed, one of those that go up and down. And I had my hand on his heart, and I was counting his breaths because they were getting shallower and just different. And I just suddenly was full of fear and courage all at the same time, because we just do it hard. When we're afraid, we do it. Just do it afraid, because you never know what's going to come of it. And I will tell you that minute of my life is probably one of the best moments of my life. I was lying next to him with my hand on his heart when it stopped beating. And right before it stopped beating, I told him, "I'm going to be okay, babe. I'm going to be okay." And then he stopped breathing. I tell that to you because we think what the future holds is going to be, I thought maybe, hey, they're just going to cut the cancer out and we're going to be good. And that's not what happened. And so then all of a sudden, I have days of grief, weeks of grief, months of grief, and I'm lost. And I don't know what to do, and I don't want to do real estate without him. He was my rock. He was the one who, we'd go to the post office together and do all that. And so I decided one morning I got up and I said, I need to do something different. I need to get out of my grief and love people. And in that 20 seconds of insane courage, I decided I'm going on a quest to meet random strangers. And I went to Starbucks because I always felt comfort in Starbucks. So I went to Starbucks and I just decided I'm going to meet random strangers every day. I met someone within a few minutes and I didn't even know what to say. I was kind of like, oh no, how do I approach someone? And the whole thing was that I needed to heal my heart by loving, by being more open and available and just loving people for who they were. And so I decided I was going to do this for a year, and I met over 3,000 people. And I mean, that's a whole other video that probably would last 2 hours. So I'm just going to say right now that I met people who I could love, and they were different from me. And I just had so much that I wanted to give of my heart. And it filled me, and it was the best year of my life. And then part of that was that someone told me, Terry, you should be an Uber driver. You meet lots of random people that way. And so I did that. I had a little red Lexus, and I was an Uber driver. And one night I get a call. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and I go around the corner and I pick up someone. But when I got there, this lady goes, "Yay, it's Terry, our Uber driver." And I just felt like, I want to know who that is. I want to know her. So when we came back, 20 seconds of insane courage, and I said, "Do you mind if I join you guys? You look like you're having so much fun." Within 5 minutes, we were best friends. We're still best friends. She was in real estate also. I joined her team, and life changed. And I had a new friend, and I started coming out of my grief, and I started just really being able to love people, and I found myself. I started finding myself because I was so lost. And then there was another point where I just graduated my youngest child. So, and I still homeschooled them through all of this. I'd graduated my youngest child. I was thinking, I need to get rid of stress. I have so much burden on me. Maybe I should just go get a job. And I would think that about, probably every year. I'd think, I should just go get a job so I could have insurance and all that stuff. I don't care about security that much. What I care about is stress and not having stress on my life. So I went and got a job at a hotel, and then I was in a bar, and I met a lady from Minnesota, and we started talking, and within 15 minutes she said, "Would you come be my GM in Colorado?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" 20 seconds of insane courage. I sold everything I had that wouldn't fit in my car, but I also sold my car because I was moving to Colorado, and I had a little convertible, and now I needed a car that would work. So I bought a Subaru, the state car of Colorado, and everything I owned fit in that car. And I left my family. I left everything I knew. It was the first time I'd ever lived alone in my whole life. So that was pretty cool for me. And I told her I'd give her a year, and then I moved back to Texas because, my family was still here. But then I was unemployed, and then COVID hit, and it was like, oh no, now I don't have a job. And I reached out to someone and interviewed for a position as a sales executive. This was right before COVID. I got hired as a sales executive, and then I got unhired. Because they're like, we don't even know what that's going to look like. We don't know how you're going to meet people. The whole country shut down. And so I was back to being unemployed, living with some great friends. So that was nice. And my family was around, and my son got married. And so it was a good time. A good time. Well, you know how good times are. I try to keep positive and upbeat. So every day there was something amazing to look forward to. And then I got a text message from the division president of Fidelity, and she said, "Terry, would you consider being a receptionist at a title company?" And for one split second, I thought of saying, I really want to be a sales executive. But instead, my 20 seconds of insane courage said, absolutely, let's do it. I went up, started being a receptionist in Frisco. Then I got to do assistant. And then the sales executive job opened. And I got my little offer letter. And you know what? That didn't even take 20 seconds of insane courage. That just took a yes. And that's where I am today. I'm with Fidelity National Title as a sales executive in Southlake, Flower Mound, Frisco, and McKinney. And I feel like everything I've done my whole life, the speaking, I get to go and speak to realtors, loving people. I get to do that every day. And what if I hadn't taken one of those 20 seconds of insane courage? I may not be where I am today.